It's over 30 trivia questions from my friends at Stage Time Trivia. This is Trivia with Buds. What it be, and welcome to another episode of the Trivia with Buds podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Buds. Thanks for checking out this supersized episode of the show. A little longer than usual, a few more questions than usual, and they're all from my friends at Stage Time Trivia. Stage Time Trivia run by my friend Phil Farda, who is a trivia host and comedian in upstate New York. You can check out their website, stagetimetrivia.com. I get sent a complete trivia night every single week from them. It's a subscription model, and it's $100 a month, and you get a game every week, which I use at one of my trivia locations down here that's really close to another one, so I don't have to write two different games. So we have a totally different format that we use at a place called Watauga Brewing in Johnson City, Tennessee. And then on Tuesday nights, we do my format, Trivia with Buds, at a place across the street called Tennessee Hills Brewstillery. So to make those distinctly different, I turned to Stage Time Trivia. And you should too, to get some content. They've got some really good stuff over there. And I think they have sample games and individual games. Like if you need a specifically Disney trivia night, they have different packages you can download for less than that monthly rate. So check it out, stagetimetrivia.com. Before we get into a whole trivia night's worth of questions, over a few rounds from Stage Time, we'll do the categories warm-up game. The letter is D, and we have things that jump or bounce, items you take on a trip, and bodies of water. Things that jump or bounce, items you take on a trip, and bodies of water, all starting with the letter D. All right, we're warmed up, we're ready to go, and we're jumping into over 30 different trivia questions from Stage Time. Here we go. All right, we've got a good mix of fun stuff over a few different rounds here today. There is one round, round number 2 is usually a picture round, so we're going to skip that one, but it was Disney movies by opening scene. Disney movies by opening scene. So they had screenshots of movies like Pocahontas and Hercules and Finding Nemo, and you had to identify them from that first screenshot. But we're going to kick things off with 4 questions on general knowledge. And we'll go through all the questions here, and then we'll go back and go through all the answers, just like you'd be playing this at a real trivia night over a couple hours somewhere in upstate New York or down here in Johnson City, Tennessee. Number 1, general knowledge. Question 1, what letter appears at the top of an optometrist's chart? Number 1, what letter appears at the top of an optometrist's chart? Number 1. Question number 2, what singer went viral when he was spotted filling potholes outside his estate in Essex? Number 2, what singer went viral when he was spotted filling potholes outside his estate in Essex? Question number 3, in which U.S. state does the Sundance Film Festival take place? Number 3, in which U.S. state does the Sundance Film Festival take place? And number 4, for the 5th year in a row, which European nation was recently named the world's happiest country, according to an annual unsponsored index? Number 4, for the 5th year in a row, which European nation was recently named the world's happiest country, according to an annual unsponsored index. And I'm now realizing that is UN. UN-sponsored index. I was like, unsponsored? What does that mean? And now I realize that the capital U and the capital N mean UN-sponsored index. You could laugh at me. Most people do. All right, that was round number 1, general knowledge. Let's move on to what would be round number 3 in the real game, but we'll call it round number 2 for the purposes of this podcast. These are 4 questions on 90s sports movies. Number 1, the 1993 comedy Cool Runnings tells the story of 4 Jamaican athletes competing in what Winter Olympic sport? Number 1, Cool Runnings tells the true story of 4 Jamaican athletes competing in which Winter Olympic sport? Number 2, who starred as baseball legend Babe Ruth in the 1992 biopic The Babe? Who starred as Babe Ruth in The Babe? Number 3, Nick Nolte starred as the head basketball coach at the fictional Western University in what 1994 film? Nick Nolte starred as the head basketball coach at the fictional Western University in what 1994 film? And number 4 for 90s sports movies. What 1998 Spike Lee film starred real-life NBA star Ray Allen as basketball prodigy Jesus Shuttlesworth? Number 4, what 1998 Spike Lee film starred real-life NBA star Ray Allen as basketball prodigy Jesus Shuttlesworth? All right. We have our next round, which as a handout is a matching round. So you have, I think, 12 items in a box, and you have to match up the people with the thing that you're trying to match up. In this case, it is celebrity authors with their book titles. Celebrity authors with their book titles. But for the podcast, we will just read the book title, and you tell me which celebrity wrote it. Number 1, Private Parts. Number 1, Private Parts. Number 2, Confessions of a Heiress. Number 2, Confessions of an Heiress. Number 3, Scar Tissue. Scar Tissue. Number 4, Kiss and Make Up. Kiss and Make Up. Number 5, Too Fat to Fish. Too Fat to Fish. Number 6, the hardest, in parentheses, working, man in showbiz. The hardest working man in showbiz. Number 7, Not That Kind of Girl. Not That Kind of Girl. Number 8, The Long Hard Road Out of Hell. The Long Hard Road Out of Hell. Number 9, Tough Expletive. Life advice from a fat, lazy slob who did good. Tough expletive. Life advice from a fat, lazy slob who did good. And number 10, Lucky Man. Number 10, Lucky Man. Those probably very tough without the matching element, but let's see how you did on those at the end of the show. Going on to round number 4 here. This is a Q&A mystery theme. So if you're writing down your answers, you'll look at all your answers and think about the questions as well and try and come up with a mystery theme for the whole round. Okay? So the clues come from the questions and the answers for this mystery theme round. There are 4 questions. Number 1, what brand has become a noun and verb for a vacuum since being introduced in the early 1900s? Number 1, what brand has become a noun and verb for a vacuum since being introduced in the early 1900s? Number 2, The Truth and Musings of a Cigarette-Smoking Man are episodes of what 90s TV sci-fi drama? Number 2, The Truth and Musings of a Cigarette-Smoking Man are episodes of what 90s TV sci-fi drama? Number 3, what scorpion-like term is the stage name for both the lead man of the Police and pro wrestler Steve Borden? Number 3, what scorpion-like term is the stage name for both the lead man of the Police and pro wrestler Steve Borden? And number 4, what furry talking robot was America's most wanted toy in 1998? Number 4, what furry talking robot was America's most wanted toy in 1998? All right, that was round number 4, Q&A mystery theme round. Number 6 is a crossword style round. Again, a little bit easier with the handout, but you could do it verbally. And this says, the more, the merrier. So in all of your answers here to these 10 clues, you will have the letters M-A-R in that order somewhere. Could be the beginning of the word, middle of the word, end of the word. The more, the merrier. Number 1. Where your life is, if it's up in lights in front of a theater, where your name is if it's up in lights in front of a theater, where your name's at, if it's up there. Number 2, you might order this seafood appetizer at an Italian restaurant. You might order this seafood appetizer at an Italian restaurant. Number 3, home of 45. Home of 45. Number 4, to relegate someone to lesser status, it sounds like pushing him to the edge. To relegate someone to lesser status, it sounds like pushing him to the edge. Number 5, smallest type of monkeys. Smallest type of monkeys. Number 6, many athletes hit the wall at the infamous Heartbreak Hill during the Boston version. Number 6, many athletes hit the wall at the infamous Heartbreak Hill during the Boston version. Number 7, feared World War II German U-boats were these. Feared World War II German U-boats were these. Number 8, thicker than soy sauce, it's made without wheat. Thicker than soy sauce, it's made without wheat. Number 9, word for nonsense or a list of petty procedures. Word for nonsense or a list of petty procedures. And number 10, made from sugar and almonds, it's used for decorating cakes and making candies. Made from sugar and almonds, it's used for decorating cakes and making candies. And round 6, that was the end of our crossword clue round. We're going into round 6. This is called the plot twist round. This closes out a Stage Time Trivia show, and it sometimes has multiple parts. And at this point in the show, you can wager some, none, or all the points you've earned on the whole game on this last question. So sometimes people come back from the dead with a low score and win the whole thing if everybody misses the question, or sometimes people just really change their score drastically with this last question. So let's see what you can do for funsies here listening today. This is U.S. agencies is your clue, which I would give you before you did your wager. And the plot twist round question, put the following 4 U.S. agencies in chronological order of when they were formed from first to most recent. Put the following 4 U.S. agencies in chronological order of when they were formed from first to most recent. We have the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and the Secret Service. Put those in order of when they were formed from first to most recent. All right, and we'll give you this very special one at the very, very end of the show. This is a tiebreaker question that Stage Time Trivia includes. In the rare event of a tie, the winner that comes the closest to this actual number would get the tie broken and win the game. How many words are in Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven? How many words are in The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe? You can try and take a wild guess on that one just for fun. All right, we are done with all the questions. We did about 34 of those, 35 of those, and we're going to go over the answers right after this. We are back with the answers to Stage Time Trivia. Remember, if you want to sign up for this amazing service, go to stagetimetrivia.com. Questions and answers, the general knowledge round. 4 questions. Number 1, what letter appears at the top of an optometrist's chart that is a big letter E, like M&M? E. Number 2, what singer went viral when he was spotted filling potholes outside his estate in Essex? I know Arnold Schwarzenegger did this even more recently than whenever this quiz was written, but they were looking for Rod Stewart here, the singer Rod Stewart. Number 3, in which U.S. state does the Sundance Film Festival take place? Utah. Number 4, for the 5th year in a row, the European nation was recently named the world's happiest country according to an annual UN-sponsored index. That's Finland. Finland is the happiest country. All right, then we went on to round number 2, 90s sports movies. Cool Runnings. Number 1 is about a Jamaican bobsled team with John Candy as the coach, bobsledding. Number 2, who starred as Babe Ruth in The Babe in 92? John Goodman from Roseanne and Big Lebowski. Number 3, Nick Nolte starred as the head basketball coach of Western University in the 94 film Blue Chips with Shaquille O'Neal, about sports gambling. Number 4, what 1998 Spike Lee film starred real-life NBA star Ray Allen as basketball prodigy Jesus Shuttlesworth? That's He Got Game with Denzel Washington. He Got Game. The next round, we had to name the celebrity author that had those book titles. Number 1, Private Parts was also the name of his movie, Howard Stern. Howard Stern. Number 2, Confessions of an Heiress, Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton. Number 3, Scar Tissue, Anthony Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers. Number 4, Kiss and Makeup, keyword Kiss, Gene Simmons with the tongue from the band Kiss. Number 5, Too Fat to Fish, tough one, Artie Lang, who's been on Howard Stern a bunch of times, Artie Lang. Number 6, The Hardest Working Man in Show Business, Ron Jeremy, porn star Ron Jeremy. Number 7, Not That Kind of Girl, Lena Dunham. I think because she had the show called Girls. Number 8, The Long, Hard Road Out of Hell, Marilyn Manson. That was a tough one unless you really knew that was his book. Number 9, Tough Expletive, Life Advice from a Fat Lazy Slob Who Did Good, Kevin Smith. I love me some Kevin Smith. And number 10, Lucky Man, was Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox, tough round. Number 4, our fourth round was the mystery Q&A round. Let's see if you got the mystery theme for an additional 10 points. If you're keeping some kind of score at home, you would give yourself 10 points if you get the mystery theme. Number 1, what brand has become a noun and verb for vacuum since the early 1900s? Hoover. Number 2, the truth and musings from a cigarette-smoking man are episodes of The X-Files. Number 3, what scorpion-like term is a stage name for the lead singer of The Police and pro wrestler Steve Borden? That's Sting. And number 4, what furry talking robot was America's most wanted toy in 98? Furby. The theme there is the FBI. We had J. Edgar Hoover, The X-Files, a Sting, and Most Wanted, like America's Most Wanted. The theme there, FBI, if you got it. Round number 5, the crossword round. The more, the merrier. Number 1, where your name is, if it's up in lights in front of a theater, the marquee. Number 2, you might order this seafood appetizer at an Italian restaurant, calamari. Number 3, home of 45, Mar-a-Lago. Number 4, to relegate someone to lesser status, it sounds like pushing him to the edge, marginalize. Number 5, smallest type of monkeys, marmosets. And number 6, many athletes hit the wall in the Heartbreak Hill area of the Boston Marathon. Then we had number 7, feared World War II German U-boats were these, submarines. Number 8, thicker than soy sauce, it's made without wheat, tamari. Number 9, word for nonsense or a list of petty procedures, rigmarole. That's a fun one to say. And number 10, made from sugar and almonds, marzipan, for cakes and candies. Your last question here was U.S. agencies. You had to put these in order, starting from when they first came out to most recently. And your choices were IRS, CIA, FBI, and Secret Service. The correct order of oldest to newest is number 1, IRS, 1862. Number 2, Secret Service, 1865, just a few years later. Number 3, FBI, 1908. And number 4, the CIA, 1947. So IRS, Secret Service, FBI, and CIA in that order. If you got that right, good job. And the tiebreaker question here, this was how many words are in Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven? The answer, 1,140, 1140. And there you go, a supersized episode of the show today on the weekend. Hope you had a good time listening and playing along. Go support my friend Phil Farda and Stage Time Trivia at stagetimetrivia.com. Your fact of the day for today is the filmmakers of Saw once paid for Jigsaw to have its own seat on a plane ride to promote their movie. So they bought that little puppet a plane ride, put him on the plane, and everyone's like, what the hell is that? So got people talking about Jigsaw and Saw. That's pretty awesome. Never heard about that before. Your letter today was D, things that jump or bounce. I'm going to say dogs. That's a nice, easy one for me because my dog always tries to jump on the bed, and he's very little, so he pops up in a pogo stick fashion before he finally makes it. So we'll say dogs for that. Number 2, items you take on a trip, deodorant. Sometimes you forget it, and you stink. And number 3, bodies of water, the Dead Sea. I feel pretty good about all those answers. I hope you had some more unique ones than I did. And let me know what they were on social media at Ryan Buds on just about everything. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling a friend. And we'll see you next time for more trivia with Buds. Cheers.